to invite Mr. Saakar S. Yadav, who is the founder and CMD at Lexlegis.a. Please welcome Mr. Saakar with a huge round of applause.
Hi, good afternoon. I've been told that I have got 15 minutes and then they're going to ring a bell there for me to stop, because I think enough of food for thought. It's time for thought for food, right? We all want to break for lunch. So how many chartered accountants here? Can you please raise your hands? Just raise your hands, I mean, who's the oldest one here? Nobody wants to raise their hands. Anybody born in 1970s? Raise your hand, please. Anybody born in 1960s? Only one? All right. So I'm going to start with giving a small preamble. This is a wood-crafted preamble. All right, to you, just to get everybody up. And Dilip, where are you? Please hand it over. So I'm going to ask you a few questions in between, and if you raise your hands and answer, you're going to get some gift. All right? And there, person, please don't sleep. Please get up. They sab piche dekh rahe hain. In one of the seminars when I was speaking, I told one person to please get up. And you know what happened? 7 of them got up. All right? Okay. So this is Lexlegis, Lexicon on Legislations. I'm going to speed up the presentation to give you an idea on what we are doing. And if you have questions, please at the end I can take a few questions. Or we have a team here, Mr. Tinku Mantrani, Mr. Prashant Shah, Anshul, Krish, Dilip. So you can please go to the stall and ask some questions. So it's Lexicon on Legislation, your trusted legal aid. We are not an AI company. We are doing a complete end-to-end transformation, and the results are astonishing. Some of the largest consulting firms, Big Fours, some of the largest tax consulting firms beyond the Big Four, good corporates are using the system, and we're just entering into a very new age, which I'll be speaking about. So in India, I'm just giving you a very general idea. India, about 4 crore cases are pending today. So this I'm talking of the Supreme Court, the High Court, courts, and the various tribunals and other district courts. There are about 4 crore cases pending. Last year, about 1.3 crore cases were filed, which amounts to about 60,000 cases every working day. Any idea how many courts are there in India? Quickly. Any idea how many courts are there in India? Even the nearest guess would get, I mean, a 20% up or down also I'll give you a gift. Please, yes, please. How much? 800. 1,000. 900. I mean, thoda sa aur chale jaiye idhar udhar. 1,300. About 3,000. Did you say 3,000? Wrong. Anybody else? 10,000? Okay. 10,000. 700? Or I'll give it to him. It's 18,000. You can't believe this. Please, Dilip. I mean, you're not 10% right or wrong. You're beyond 10%. But 18,000 various forums, courts, etc. And still there is a backlog. All right? Anybody here, can you say how many tax cases are pending? Direct or indirect cases? About 5 lakh. About 5 lakh cases are pending, amounting to 30 lakh crores. All right? The biggest litigant being, the biggest amount in dispute being with companies like LIC, so don't bother. So, Indian laws are complex, tax laws are complex. Thankfully, the government has decided to change and come up with a simpler direct tax. And the traditional way of searching have all now, absolutely been dumped. It is no longer the way to search. That's my father in the background. He retired as Vice Chairman of Settlement Commission, Bombay, and earlier, Settlement Commission is no longer active, it was dissolved. And earlier he was the Chief Commissioner. I had just dropped out of the National Defence Academy, and we were thinking on what to do in life. मुझे बहुत पिटाई मिली, because a class 1 officer you become at the age of 18, 19, though from a bureaucratic family that's a big thing. We started making India's first legal database with shepherdized content. What is shepherdized content? It is a way of organizing content in a way which you divide into issues and then you arrange a hierarchical arrangement of those issues. We started in 1998. We launched a search engine based on only gist of decisions. Some of you may remember Skoridov. I don't know, anybody remember Skoridov? Please raise your hands. Sabko prize dijiye. Dilip, sabko. So that was the first company, Skoridov. And we had a software called Tax Help in that. That Tax Help has now grown up to become Lexlegis. Because from tax now we have covering all kinds of laws. Because we realized that certain answers were not in tax. For example, if you got a notice without a signature, is it a valid notice or not? The answer doesn't lie in any of the tax judgments. So if you have bought a tax database and looking for an answer, most probably you will not get it. You will have to look up, say there is some Supreme Court judgment which started at a Tehsildar level where somebody got a notice and had gone up to the Supreme Court level and it was said that a notice without a signature is not a valid notice. So law has to be treated separately. 2004 we started working on developing the largest database of judgments across all laws. 2014 we worked on a project called NJRS. Anybody has heard of NJRS? Alright, so this is the sad part. It was the world's largest repository of judgments and appeals. World's largest. We did it for the Government of India. I was heading the CDPC for the National Judicial Reference System. It was a Government of India project where we compiled a lot of decisions and we were able to, just to tell you, we were able to close some 17,000 cases because the matter was decided at the Supreme Court level, but for some reason the CIT, DR and at the tribunal level it was still continuing. It was a pre-decided matter, but it was still continuing. And then in 2024, we launched Lexlegis.a. This is one screen which speaks everything about what we are doing. We have trained on almost 10 million tokens of data. So you see down here, there's a word GIGO written here. Anybody knows what GIGO is? आप क्यों बोल रहे हो? अब आप तो सॉफ्टवेयर कंपनी से हो, इतना अच्छा कंपनी चलाते हो जिनको. It's garbage in, garbage out. AI works on a principle called GIGO. Most LLMs in the market are trained on all kinds of blogs, chats, Reddits, Quoras, etc. So what happens is that if you go to a Quora or go to any of these blogs, there will be one question on top and there will be like 12 answers. One of them may be right or none of them may be right. Maybe two may be right. AIs are not intelligent to understand which is a right answer, which is a wrong answer. They just ingest, eat. Bakasur सुने कोई? Anybody knows what Bakasur is? वो बस खाता है. उसको नहीं मालूम क्या खा रहा है. Right? It's not vegetarian, non-vegetarian. Just eat up all the data. So when it spits out, it also spits out incorrect data also. So we have to train it on a very authentic set of data. So we are the owners of the largest repository of legal authentic data, the statutes, the regulations and the case laws, and we follow this process: statutes, regulation and case laws. And this is why, if you will, some of you will be using certain GPTs like Gemini or ChatGPT or Claude, etc. You will be seeing that sometimes majority of the times when it is giving you a judgment or referring you some things, it will hallucinate. What is hallucination? It will imagine that you're doing something. Quickly in 30 seconds, may I request all of you to take on your phone. Take out your phone please quickly. I just want to explain you quickly what is hallucination. Is there lunch after this? Or is there another panel? Okay, just quickly, just take off your phone please quickly. Open your WhatsApp. Start sending a message to somebody close. Don't send it to your boss or your junior. Alright, there is a plus sign on iPhones and there is a gems clip or a U clip sign on Android phones. Click that. You see a button called Imagine there. Do you see Imagine? Anybody sees Imagine? Raise your hands. Alright, click that. and type 10 people sitting in a room with a monkey outside the window. Really, just do that. Did you get any output? Yes or no? Imagine, click कीजिए and then type this in imagine. Yes? So yours not updated. Anybody? Yourself, sir? Start typing the message to somebody and click the plus sign or the U clip. There is an imagine button there. Do you all see? Anybody sees the imagine button? Raise your hands first. A lot of people. Click on imagine button. There is an accept button. Click that and start typing 10 people sitting in a room with a monkey looking from outside. Anybody is finished typing? Yeah, so what did you get? You got an image, right? That image does not exist on the World Wide Web. It has created an image, all right? When it creates an image like this, you love it. Arey, kitna intelligent hai. But if it creates a judgment for you, or it creates an output for you which is not true, that you dislike. Ye to galat hai. And that is hallucination, all right? So in the legal and the tax domain, we have been able to curtail hallucination. All right, so our models don't hallucinate or don't speak outside the trained model. Number one. Number two, if you are going to get outputs without an explanation, then you're not going to like it. So our models actually give you outputs with explanation, and third, with source references. So for the first time, I'm proud to say, from India, we have been able to give an output. So for example, a lot of people here, there was sir from Indian Hotels, is he here? No. So for example, you all do research, right? When you get a question, you all do legal research. Is there any set standard that you follow? Anybody follows that set standard? Or is it Google, look up database, and then do something else? Is there any set standard that you follow? Quickly? You follow set standard? Which standard do you follow?
It's a process that you need to follow. So first you need the where act, then you go to the relevant notifications, the judgments which are available in our database.
Please give something to ma'am. So what she's saying is quite right, but there is an industry-wide legal research standards. For example, it's called the IRAC process: issue, rule, application, and conclusion. So we follow an IRAC process. We have CREAC process coming up, etc., which is the most scientific way to give output to a legal research. And that is what we have been able to crack that in AI, and we have been able to give that. You can actually have a look outside when we give the demo. So with that, we are able to solve hallucination, give you, and we are document grounding it, in the sense nothing outside is outside what we have trained it on. All right? So you learn, if you ask it to draw or write a story on 4 people with a monkey looking outside, it will not draw it for you. We have tightened it, it's a big animal, Bakasur hai. We have tightened it, ki iske bahar nahi jana hai. So we have tested the answers with various GPT platforms, etc. Our outputs are more preferred by all corporate tax departments, legal people, and other consulting firms. We call it the legal aid. Tax is a sub-part of law, and this aid stands for ask, that is legal research, interact, that is document interaction, and drafting. So legal research is something that I told you, where you can ask legal questions and you can get answers. Document interaction, you could use a Word, where in Word you can have something to help you draft your appeals, draft your reply to notices, etc. Or you could work on it on our Interact platform on the web. And the draft is ultimately where you can draft replies to. So we are even working with certain judges and tribunal members to help them draft orders. You see, the big problem with the judges and the tribunal members are, before the order is pronounced, they give it to some steno, and the steno already knows the order before it has been pronounced. And like it or not, but sometimes it gets leaked. So there is a big requirement where we are able to help judges and tribunal members draft orders, leave alone draft appeals. Okay. So we are doing these 3 models: ask, interact and draft. So you have a legal chat, you have direct taxes, indirect taxes, we have specialized models, general laws, corporate laws that you could have questions on all of this. In interact, you could summarize large documents, review documents. You're drafting an agreement, you're drafting matters of your interest or any MOU, etc. It would tell you that you have mentioned point 1.52, but there is no 1.52 mentioned in the agreement. It will tell you that you have missed the indemnity clause. It will tell you you are doing an agreement with Germany, but you are missing the GDPR clause, etc. It will pull out information and give it to you. Of course, translate, compare is very interesting. So once you get 2 documents and you don't want to compare it like a word compare where you have a strike off and this thing, you want to have a semantic compare, a meaning compare, that you could do. And DocuCloud. So a good example of this is, like we have a client who has got many rental properties, and maybe 400 rental properties, and he wanted to know which of the properties do not have an auto renew clause, right? Imagine 400 agreements, scan karke, give it to a battery of people, right? And ask him to go over it. If that work can happen in 30 seconds or 2 minutes, that's what you could do now. It will give you a clear marking that this doesn't have. Imagine if an auto on the same rental property, now you can imagine if you've got a set of documents and you want to query the documents together, what else could you do? That is the power. So in fact, one of the very leading tax consulting firms, they have got their internal 2000 documents which they follow for all purpose. So what we are able to do is they are able to query on those 2000 documents and frame replies based on those 2000 documents. It is called DocuCloud. That is the feature that you can discuss outside. Then we have drafting. So drafting is you could draft from scratch. We are launching about 2000 templates for various purposes. If you have got notices across, you will be able to upload notices, draft real time. But the notice is very interesting. The notice not only gives you a reply, it will look up the judgments and circulars. Because we are the largest repository and that's what makes us different. It will look up the judgment. So for example, if this is already stated in the Supreme Court decision that this will not be allowed, so you can look up the judgments and then draft a notice, and all within a click or maybe a few seconds. So that's the beauty of, rather than, we're just not using an LLM, while we have fine-tuned and trained. What does LLM stand for, anybody? Please raise your hand. आप हाथ उठा के नहीं बोले आप. चलिए अब इनको दीजिए एक. So large language models, right? So it tends to hallucinate. It doesn't have its own database of judgments. And so what we do is we document ground it, because we have got almost 1 crore documents on which we are training it on. So it will look up the documents and then frame an answer for you. We are of course building it for law C firms, corporate legal and tax departments, courts, government departments, SME, professional, and even we are now coming up on WhatsApp. Possibly all those who subscribe or are subscribing, they're already getting it on WhatsApp. So imagine you're sitting in a bathroom, in the toilet, and you have a question coming, right? नहीं आया कभी question आप लोगों को washroom में? आया होगा. Where do you ask? You're climbing up the staircase. कुछ लोग हंस रहे हैं, बोल रहे हैं इनको ये pink shirt वाले, purple shirt वाले हंस रहे हैं. So he possibly was thinking on the throne today. You're running up the stairs and you have a question. You're sitting in a bus or a car or a train and you have a question. Are you going to open your laptop? You try asking other GPTs, you'll not get fulfilling answers. So now you could just send us the question and our WhatsApp is going to give you grounded, authentic replies, not just any LLM replies. Please remember that Harvey is a very sought after legal and tax AI company in US. Please remember that OpenAI has invested in this company. You know OpenAI? All of you know OpenAI? Does OpenAI know anything about AI? Of course. Right? Does Google know anything about AI? नहीं सुनाई देता है. Yes. So why would OpenAI and Google Ventures both invest in a law company. Remember that 3 units, it's law or tax, medical and finance. You cannot be roundabout correct. Therefore, law is black and white, right? It's no shades of grey. You don't want to tell anybody in medical that you have got cancer while you don't have, or you don't have cancer while you have. So in these things, it has to be meticulously trained, which large models are not able to do. Therefore, if you see Thomson Reuters bought over Case Text, Everlaw, etc., these are our global competition that is now thriving, etc. And the reason we are showing you about Harvey is the why a specialized model. So that's the team. I think some of you here will be knowing Mr. Praveen Sood, who was head of taxation for Tata Steel, Vishruth and myself. We're launching in UK shortly, and that's it. Any questions? Any 1 or 2 questions? Please, I'll take it up.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Any question? We can take one. Nope. They have a booth outside. If you have any question, you can connect with them. And
No questions means you have not understood anything. Or you have understood everything. All right. Thank you for having me here. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.